Hi, you don't know me, but your children definitely know my username. If your kid has ever listed a beaten-up, well-loved vintage Charizard from his childhood collection on a local online marketplace, hoping to get enough cash to buy a used bicycle, I am the man who sent the automated lowball offer within 4 seconds. I am the reason he didn't get the bicycle. I am a grown adult male. I have a mortgage, I have a corporate calendar, and I spend my evenings running custom Python scripts to hunt down the physical remnants of children's happiness across regional European classified sites. Professionally, for a margin. And I have become terrifyingly efficient at it. So, let me walk you through, step by clinical step, exactly how I systematically ruined this hobby for your family without ever leaving my desk. Think of it as a confession. And, if I'm being totally honest, a massive financial flex. It starts, like all corporate greed, with a localized web scraper. I do not look at retail shelves anymore. That's amateur hour. That's physical labor. No, I have an N8 automation framework piped straight into my private Discord server, scanning under-indexed local retail sites and second-hand apps across 7 different time zones. Second Mum lists her teenager's old shoebox full of bent base set cards under the title Old Pokémon Carton. My server triggers a notification that sounds like a nuclear submarine under attack. And my physical technique is entirely digital. I do not negotiate. I do not ask if the cards are in good condition. In fact, I pray that they are absolute garbage. I want them bent. I want them creased. I want them to look like they've spent the last 3 weeks in the back pocket of a 9-year-old's jeans during a rainy summer camp. Because while the regular collectors are all sweating over pristine, perfect, flawless gem mint 10s, I have discovered a much darker, much more lucrative corner of the psychological matrix. PSA 1 market, the degenerate art of certified trash. Now, before you judge me, you need to understand something very important. I'm not a bully. I'm an arbitrage operator. That is the sentence. That is the magic string of words I repeat to myself, to my accountant, and the bathroom mirror that transforms grown man systematically buying ruined childhood toys from teenagers for pennies into distressed asset acquisition. It's not exploitation, it's restructuring. It is, and this is the word I use to sleep at night: liquidity. And my investment thesis was airtight. To get a perfect PSA 10, you need luck, money, and a pristine factory line. To get a perfect PSA 1, you need a very specific, highly regulated level of authentic, catastrophic human damage. It cannot have a pinhole, it cannot have ink, it must be uniformly, beautifully destroyed by a child who genuinely loved it in 2002. It is a monument to nostalgia. And because rich adults with midlife crises will pay an absurd premium for a certified piece of human history, a PSA 1 vintage card often sells for more than a near mint 7. And then, one Tuesday morning, the automation hit a snag. I'm checking a local listing. A kid, maybe 14, trying to save up for his first real computer, is selling a damaged Gold Star card from 2006. He wants $90 for it. He clearly looked up the price of a perfect one, realized his was too scratched, and priced it lower just to make a quick sale. I pull up my custom chat script to offer him exactly 40. And then he messaged me back. He told me it was his favorite card. He told me he was only selling it because his dog needed a specific vet treatment and his parents wouldn't cover it. He asked if I could please do 50 because that was the exact remaining balance on the bill. And I looked at his message, I looked at the high-resolution photo of the scratched foil, and I said the exact sentence that every single one of us says to justify our behavior. The sentence that should honestly be the corporate slogan for this entire hobby. The market doesn't care about the dog. The market doesn't care about the dog. Oh, the absolute horror. A teenager having an emotional connection to an animal. Can you imagine that kind of economic sentimentality? Not under my watch. I sent the 40. He was desperate, so he took it. That card didn't go to save a golden retriever. It went directly into a plastic card saver, into a FedEx box, into a grading queue in California to be sealed in a plastic slab with a little red label that says Pour 1. Never to be touched by a human hand again, exactly as the spreadsheet intended. Do you know what a well-loved card is worth while it's still inside a kid's bedroom binder? It's worth memories. And memories, as an asset class, have a market cap of absolutely nothing. I don't trade in memories. I trade in serial-numbered plastic. And here's the part that should make you feel slightly better about me, but will actually make you lose faith in humanity. I'm not an anomaly. I am a demographic. There are thousands of me. We are an entire generation of adults who looked at a children's game, realized the players had no capital and no legal protection, and cornered the market on their childhood. We stripped the second-hand apps down to the bare code. We dragged the price of a beaten-up piece of cardboard from pocket change to an institutional investment. We took an entry-level hobby for kids and turned it into an aggressive game of algorithmic short-selling, where the primary victims are minors who just want to trade with their friends at lunch. A kid cannot stumble into a good card at a yard sale anymore. I mean, not really. The actual children, the specific human beings this entire ecosystem was invented for, are being out-scraped by custom Python scripts written by 35-year-olds with 3 monitors and deeply unresolved childhood financial anxiety. We aren't collecting cards. We are grown men trying to financialize the concept of youth, and we are fully prepared to lowball a teenager to do it. We didn't just take the supply, we took the secondary market. We took the organic discovery. We took the entire concept of a hobby. So, last week, I sat down and actually ran the audit on what I have become. I am an adult. I spend my lunch breaks looking at photos of scratched plastic, calculating the exact ROI of another person's sentimental loss. I maintain a spreadsheet tracking the market sentiment of a distorted, water-damaged fire lizard. I have, and by the way I feel physically degraded saying this out loud, exposure to the distressed vintage market. I am the apex predator of a digital marketplace where people sell their old bikes and baby clothes. There is a man on the same app trying to sell his old lawnmower to pay his electric bill, and I am over here, sweating through my shirt, offering $40 to a kid for a piece of paper. Exactly one of us is a functioning member of society, and let me tell you, it's the guy with the lawnmower. If you described my portfolio strategy to a licensed therapist, they would slowly move their coffee mug out of my striking distance. But here's the punchline. Here is where the investment is supposed to vindicate me and prove my macroeconomic genius. It doesn't, because the bubble is a joke. The PSA 1 market only exists because we all agreed to pretend that certified trash is rare. It's a manufactured scarcity inside a manufactured scarcity. Modern sets we are scraping for are being overprinted by the billions, and the vintage cards I bought from these desperate teenagers are currently down 19% because a major auction house just dumped 300 similar slabs onto the market at once. My portfolio has the volatility of a meme coin and the long-term structural dignity of a Beanie Baby. And that beautiful profit margin I calculated on my monitor? It only exists until the next guy realizes he can just rub a card against his living room carpet and create his own PSA 1. Now let's get this perfectly clear. I became the villain of a regional classifieds app. I made a teenager sell his favorite childhood memory for less than the price of a video game. I hollowed out the last organic corner of a hobby I used to love. I abandoned my self-respect for an algorithm for a return that a basic index fund would have beaten while I was asleep on my couch. I didn't outsmart the market. There is no market here. I just out-automated a 14-grader and called it a macroeconomic strategy. And yesterday afternoon, that FedEx box arrived back from California. I broke the seal and looked at the slab. PSA 1. The perfect certified piece of absolute garbage. The exact card I took from that kid. And I waited to feel the dopamine hit of a successful arbitrage play. Because that's the whole game. That's why we write the code. The win. Do you know what? I felt absolutely nothing. Because here's the math I only figured out looking at that plastic slab. That kid and I both wanted the exact same piece of paper, but he wanted the dragon because it was his favorite dragon, and I wanted the number on the registry. And somewhere in the last 5 years, I completely lost the ability to see the dragon at all. I don't even like Pokémon. I just like the scoreboard, and there's nothing on that scoreboard worth winning. That kid had the only asset on the entire marketplace that mattered, and it was the one thing I couldn't buy off him with a bank transfer. He still loved the game. I only loved the speculation. and you can't buy that love back, no matter how many distressed assets you hoard in a drawer. Trust me, I have a room full of proof. So, that is how I personally ruined Pokémon for your kids. Notification by notification, script by script, code snippet by code snippet that I am never ever going to turn off. And I would love to tell you that I grew as a person, that I deleted the Python script, messaged the kid back, and sent him his card back with an extra $100 for his dog. I did not. The slab is currently listed on eBay for $450. Nobody's bought it yet. It has 6 watchers, and 3 of them are probably my own bots checking the market depth. And my scraper is running again right now. Tell your kid to check his listings. If the offer looks insulting, that was me. I did all of that so a damaged piece of cardboard could theoretically beat inflation by 2% over the next decade. Oh, it's the saddest sentence I've ever written. I'll see you in the comments.